Welcome to the best wrestling podcast in the world. The wrestling podcast that has as many WrestleMania main events as CM Punk. Everything is Wrestling Podcast. My name is Nick. Let's get right into it. Stuff I want to get to today. We had Saturday night main event. We have Monday Night Raw. We had SmackDown. We have new champions being crowned. New wrestler teaser. And we had the Netflix Raw premiere looking like a WrestleMania card. Let's get right into everything. We'll start with Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Triple H. The biggest news of kind of the WWE weekend was Saturday night main event, and the main event being Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, of course, everybody's seen it. Kevin Owens brings in a chair at the end after the two of them took out about 3 refs altogether. Kevin Owens brings in a chair. He misses. Cody Rhodes uses it for the crossroads. Gets the 1, 2, 3 off of the chair, even with the ref outside the ring, which is a little strange. Cody Rhodes wins. Saturday night main event goes off the air with Cody Rhodes celebrating and everything. But the big thing and the big news that kind of spread across social media right away was what happened once the show went off the air. Kevin Owens got back into the ring, gave Cody Rhodes a package power driver. They had to stretcher out Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens stood on Cody Rhodes' body while he was tied down to the stretcher, took the Winged Eagle belt, which is the best belt in wrestling. I don't care. He took the Winged Eagle belt, stood over him, raised it up. If we're going by finders keepers rules, I think Kevin Owens is the world champion now. Kevin Owens takes the title. They stretcher Cody out of the ring. Kevin Owens takes the title, walks up the ramp. He's celebrating, raising the title in the air. And who shows up but Triple H? Shows up pissed off. All this happened after the show, and they got into a little bit of shoving and pushing match, which is the most action we've seen from Triple H since his health scare maybe a year ago, months ago. But it spread like crazy. First, we were getting just fan videos of it, and then WWE put out the official video of the whole thing. It's the biggest news coming out of the Saturday night main event, along with Chelsea winning, but we'll get to that later. The pushing match with Kevin Owens and Triple H is super interesting, just because I don't know where you go with that. You can't have Triple H in a ring. If this was 5 years ago, Kevin Owens versus Triple H would absolutely cook for a WrestleMania match. But you can't do that now. Does Triple H bring somebody in to handle his Kevin Owens problem? Maybe Randy. Maybe he gets Cody to take care of what he needs to take care of. The pushing back and forth with Triple H and Kevin Owens was super intense. It was super unexpected. I kind of wish they showed it during Saturday night main event, but at the same time, it's cool that they're saving these little things, because WWE has the best social media in all of entertainment, and these things are one of the reasons why. We probably won't see too much of it with this coming SmackDown this week, just because it was taped last week. So they didn't want to give spoilers in terms of Saturday night main event. So I'm guessing either the following week we'll get more into the Triple H, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton stuff. I brought up, and it's on WWE's YouTube video, that one after the package power driver, the crowd was chanting one more time. I'm not making it up. It's not edited. It's there. The crowd was chanting one more time for another package power driver. And as I couldn't really tell, but as the video of Cody Rhodes being stretchered out of the arena, you hear the crowd again chanting, "You deserve it." People said that Cody Rhodes was on this John Cena run being the face of the company, but I don't think people remember that that's part of the John Cena run of being the face of the company, is that there's a large portion of fans that are just not going to be on Cody Rhodes' side. There's a large portion of fans right now that think Kevin Owens is right in this whole thing. And especially when you get into markets like the East Coast of the Bostons and New Yorks and the Philadelphias, and then even into Chicago. these fans are going to cheer for the Kevin Owens of the world. If Cody Rhodes does do a heel turn coming into this or coming out of this, he has a lot of ammo and reasoning to turn heel on the fans. The thank you Roman chant, still we want Roman chants. Stuff with Randy Orton continuing to stare at his title. Roman Reigns taking the spotlight from him over and over and over again. The Kevin Owens stuff. And then you have the fan stuff recently with Saturday Night Main Event. There's a lot of ammo if and when Cody Rhodes wants to hit that switch. But again, if we're going by the Finders Keepers rules and the possession is 9/10 of the law rules, Kevin Owens left with this world title. Triple H did not take it in that video. Kevin Owens continued to take that title with him. By everybody's rules, Kevin Owens is the WWE champion. I'm guessing probably after the holidays, we're going to get either at the Netflix premiere or they'll call something for another Saturday Night Main Event. I think it's coming up in January. We'll get Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens 3. The rest of the Saturday Night Main Event card was cool. Chelsea becoming the first ever women's U.S. champion was awesome to see. She's worked her ass off. She's great in the ring. She's great outside the ring. She definitely deserved to be the first champion. She'll be super entertaining as champion. And I'm guessing that Michin will probably be the feud coming out of that because it's not over. You had a little distraction from Piper Niven. So they can continue that for maybe another match or two. But congrats to Chelsea Green for being the first ever women's U.S. champion. And congrats to Matt Cardona for being the first ever one half of the women's U.S. champion. I enjoyed Liv beating Io clean, even though I don't like that personally. I'm a big Io fan. But Liv being the champion and beating Io clean was awesome to see. Rhea coming out at the end and Liv not backing down was very good to see. It wasn't focused on Raquel. It wasn't focused on Dominic. It was Rhea, Liv, one-on-one. Liv not running from Rhea at all. Good to see. We've seen that on Raw. Rhea is now the number one contender for that title. They haven't announced when that match was going to happen. I'm guessing it's probably Netflix too, but we'll see when that happens. But I did like that little segment at the end. After Gunther got the win in the triple threat, I don't know where they go from there with Gunther. I'm guessing we'll probably wait into the new year and see who that next big contender is. But right now, we don't really have nothing for Gunther. He got the win. Cool. He moves on. We're continuing the Damian Priest and Finn Balor stuff, which is just ended already. Put him in the Hell in a Cell. Have it be done. I think Drew McIntyre is super interesting right now. You had Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Drew wins pretty cleanly. And just in the social media post afterwards, he said 1 down, 4 to go in terms of him wanting to now take down the OG Bloodline. And the thing is, who is the 4? Like, he said he took down Sami. Of course, Roman's there. We've seen him take out Jimmy and Jay. But we're missing one more person. Is that person Heyman? Is that person Punk? Is that person Solo? Could that person be The Rock? That's something to keep an eye on with Drew there, of his goal and his mission, just like a few other people, is to take down OG Bloodline. And that whole little mission continued. You figure on last week or the week before, Monday Night Raw, he took out Jay, he took out Sami. This past week, he took out Jimmy. He beat Sami at Saturday Night Main Event. And then on Raw, there was a backstage segment with Drew and Seth, where Drew was kind of sort of recruiting Seth to join his cause. And I've been saying this online, when Roman Reigns shows up on Raw for the Netflix premiere, I just feel like he's going to get jumped. Roman is already going against Solo. That means Bloodline 2.0 is going to be there. That's Tama and Jacob. They're going to be there. You have Drew gunning for him. You have Seth Rollins probably being on site with him. And you have maybe Kevin Owens popping up. Roman better watch his back. And I think the whole Bloodline 2.0 better watch their back during that Netflix show. And then we did get another backstage segment when they were interviewing Rollins, it looked like Drew was coming up, but then Sammy cut him off and they start fighting. So I'm guessing we'll get another match with Drew and Sammy next week or the week after sometime. I'm guessing that will happen soon. But the Bloodline, the OG Bloodline needs to watch out. There is a lot of enemies for them, a lot of main event enemies for them. Come Netflix, it's going to get really, really interesting. Monday Night Raw did start with Mr. Don't Say Moveset, CM Punk, calling out Seth Rollins, continue to say that he is the teacher and he's willing to give Seth Rollins the lesson for free. Seth Rollins comes from the stand. They both talking back and forth. I found it funny that the one thing that triggered the both of them was one, Seth calling him Phil, and Seth saying that he has more WrestleMania main events than CM Punk. Those two things is what caused the fight into the crowd, into the ring, into the side, everything. Of course, security eventually breaks it up. And then we get the announcement that it's CM Punk versus Seth Rollins on Netflix, Raw premiere, January 6th. It's insane. That was supposed to be a WrestleMania match just in April. If CM Punk doesn't get injured, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk was scheduled to happen at WrestleMania 40. And now we're getting it in January on Netflix. So already announced is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins on Netflix. We had Roman Reigns versus Solo on Netflix. I will guess that we'll get Rhea versus Liv for the championship. That's 3 top of the line PLE main event worthy matches for Monday Night Raw in 2 weeks. Insane. And with the CM Punk Seth Rollins feud, I think they need to go a little deeper into their reasoning why they hate each other. I like the CM Punk side of him being the teacher, him being the guy that Seth Rollins wanted to be. You know, Seth Rollins being his offspring. I like that angle from Punk. I think Seth Rollins needs to go deeper and probably a little more personal with his side. I feel like we can't just have I don't want him to be here, he's a cancer to WWE thing with Seth. We got that from Drew. It was great, but we already had that with Drew. Seth Rollins needs to go a little deeper here. I wouldn't mind Seth Rollins bringing up the Shield stuff. I wouldn't mind him alluding to stuff that Punk said about Roman, that Punk said about Moxley. He doesn't have to mention it in particulars, but he could just allude to it. I think that could be interesting. I think I did like Seth Rollins calling him out for never main eventing WrestleMania, because that's kind of what this is all about with Punk. He wants to be the main event of WrestleMania. So Seth Rollins saying, hey, I got those. You don't. It's cool. They're so similar in terms of their WWE careers. Punk was a multi-time champion. He 400 plus days reign. He has these big moments with the pipe bomb, turning heel on The Rock, everything like that, being a Heyman guy. But in WWE, he was never the guy. When Punk was around, even at the peak of CM Punk, there was always John Cena. When Punk was the WWE champion for 400 plus days, he still didn't main event WrestleMania. That was still Cena. When he turned heel and became a Paul Heyman guy, it was still Cena. And then with Seth, he has the moments. He has the cash in. He has the breaking up the Shield. He was the first ever WWE World Heavyweight Champion when Triple H did the tournament and presented him the belt. But Roman Reigns is still the guy. Roman Reigns is still there. That World Heavyweight Championship was presented because nobody could take down Roman Reigns. They are very much similar in that they're super great. They're fan favorites of a lot of people. A lot of people have them up in their GOAT list. But for their generations, they will never be the guy. They will be one of the guys, but they will never be the guy. Punk always has John Cena right above him. Seth Rollins will always have Roman Reigns right above him. No matter who's leading the show at the time, who's doing a pay-per-view or PLE at a time, John Cena, Roman Reigns will always be above the CM Punks and the Seth Rollins. That's what makes that whole feud interesting, is that they're looking at mirrors of each other and they don't even realize it. This first match, I think it's just one of many. I wouldn't be surprised if the feud kind of ends at WrestleMania. I thought it would be starting at WrestleMania, but if the feud ended at WrestleMania, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think they're going to cook over the next 4 months, and it's going to get really, really good. Some other stuff from Raw. We had the War Raiders winning the WWE Tag Team titles. Finally, finally getting them off of JD and Finn. That JD and Finn run might go down as the worst tag team title run of all time. I'm so happy the Raiders won this. We have an actual tag team that are going to defend these titles, that are going to put on banger matches every single time. I still think Raw needs one, maybe two more tag teams in that division to really let them cook. But I'm just happy that they got the titles off of the Judgment Day. We had a little Damian Priest interference. So what? Whatever works, works. I'm just happy the Raiders got it and are the new tag team champions. Thank God. Like I said earlier, we have Rhea Ripley announcing that she is the number one contender for Liv Morgan's championship. They haven't announced when that match is going to be. The favorite part was Rhea saying all Liv will have left is a little chicken tender slut. And then you just cut over to Dominic's face like she wasn't talking about him. It was super offended. It was a great, great moment. We're going to get that match soon, which is cool. I hope it ends just for a little while, and then they can get into the Women's Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber, and then if they need to get back around to WrestleMania, cool. But let them separate for a little while after this. We had a new wrestler possibly being teased and debuting on January 6th on the Raw on Netflix. I'm guessing, and I think the rest of the internet is guessing that it's going to be Penta. I'm hoping it's Penta. I'm wishing it's Penta. But we never know. I saw somebody on the internet said, oh, look, they're teasing the Ascension coming back. And I almost threw my phone across the room. I'm hoping it's Penta. He's great. He has potential to be a star in WWE. I was hoping he goes to NXT because I think NXT needs more main eventers. But if he's on Raw, I'm perfectly fine with that. Couple weeks, we'll see who that zero with the X crossed out in it. We'll see who that is. But I think it's Penta, right? Right? Please be. Please. And some cool Everything is Wrestling news. Becky Lynch announced on her Instagram that she will be a part of the Star Trek Starfleet season on Paramount Plus. She announced that she will be a Starfleet officer. I think that's super cool. The Star Trek wrestling world are together because of Becky Lynch. This is twice now in 2 weeks that Becky Lynch is bringing the wrestling fandom and the nerd fandom together. Last week she did Magic the Gathering, and that video is up on their YouTube channel. This week she's announcing Star Trek. Becky Lynch is just doing all the crossover side missions. I just need her to come back to Raw. But looking forward to seeing Becky on Star Trek Paramount Plus. All right, I'm going to end the show here. This is quick. This is filmed on Tuesday morning. So I'm going to try to get another episode out on Saturday or Sunday where we'll talk about more from NXT. We'll talk about AEW and Dynamite and, Winter's Coming and World's End and all that stuff. And then we'll get into SmackDown and some TNA stuff. So I'm going to try to get out a second episode this week. I just wanted to touch on all the WWE news right now. So this was episode 5 of the Everything is Wrestling podcast. Again, my name is Nick. Find me on all social media at notnick_s. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple, give it a review. 1 star, 5 stars, leave a comment. If you're on YouTube and you're watching me watch this right now, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of Saturday Night Main Event. Let me know what you think of Drew McIntyre and who's going to possibly jump Roman Reigns, and what you think of CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Let me know if you're a chicken tender slut. You know, whatever you want. Let me know. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to that channel. Leave a comment. Everything helps. It just pushes it in the algorithm. Again, my name is Nick. This is the Everything is Wrestling podcast. We have big things coming in 2025, and we'll be back very, very soon with more wrestling content.